Good morning, this is your CDT News Update. I'm Carrie Roberts. Making the news at this time. The Caribbean Public Health Agency says there's no need for concern over hantavirus. Amid the panic over 8 cases of the deadly hantavirus on board the MV Hondius cruise ship, regional health experts say there is no need to be alarmed, as the risk of an outbreak in the region, or even globally, is low, due to several key scientific factors. Speaking virtually with journalists at a media briefing on Monday, Executive Director of the Caribbean Public Health Agency, Dr. Lisa Indar, explained the current outbreak linked to the cruise ship is caused by the Andes strain of the virus. She said that strain is found in rodents, primarily in certain parts of South America. The strain is only capable of limited human-to-human transmission, and because the disease is typically transmitted through contact with infected rodents and/or their excrement, it is unlikely to develop into a pandemic.
Based on the evidence available, the rodent species that maintains this virus in nature is not present in the Caribbean, and therefore there is no documented established local route of transmission in our region. This rare human-to-human transmission usually requires intimate or prolonged exposure.
Dr. Indar said nonetheless, CARFA continues to monitor the situation.
There is no current antiviral treatment or vaccine. Care is supportive, including oxygen therapy and intensive monitoring. So CARFA advises our member states and the public to remain vigilant but not alarmed. CARFA's Caribbean tailored early warning surveillance and laboratory system mechanisms and network is actively monitoring the situation and can detect and respond with needed.
She added, although the risk is low, public can still take precautions. On April 11th, a passenger died from the virus after showing symptoms for 5 days. As of May 11th, the WHO has reported 7 confirmed cases of the virus among the passengers. In other news, the Environmental Management Authority is standing by its approval of a certificate of environmental clearance for a proposed hotel at Rocky Point, Tobago, saying the process was rigorous and science-driven. In a release, the EMA says the review included technical analysis, stakeholder input, and consultations across multiple agencies, assessing impacts on marine ecology, drainage, and climate resilience. It notes key safeguards were strengthened, including expanding the coastal setback from about 3 meters to 30 meters, along with added vegetation buffers. The authority says measures are also in place to manage runoff, protect coral reefs, and safeguard sea turtles, including restrictions during nesting periods. It adds that approval is only the first step, with ongoing monitoring and enforcement to ensure compliance. The EMA maintains the project supports sustainable development while protecting the environment. And in Tobago, a Tobago man has died following what is described as a freak accident in Bagatelle No. 1. The man has been identified as Dirk John. Reports indicate the incident occurred shortly before 6 a.m. on Monday while he was on his way to work. Initial information suggests that the victim was seated on a concrete wall when he reportedly suffered a seizure, causing him to fall into a nearby drain. He sustained severe injuries, including a broken neck, and was pronounced dead at the scene. Investigations are continuing. And in more news, the Ministry of Transport and Civil Aviation is warning the public about fake text messages circulating that claim to offer payment options for fixed penalty notices. In a public notice, the ministry says the messages, which included links for payment, did not originate from the ministry and are not connected to the licensing authority. Officials are urging members of the public to ignore these messages and avoid clicking on any links or sharing personal or financial information. The ministry is reminding citizens to rely only on its official communication channels for accurate information on paying fixed penalty notices and accessing related services. It also thanked the public for its continued vigilance and cooperation. And in some sport now, Trinidad and Tobago Red Force seized the advantage in their West Indies Championship playoff, posting 333 all out before reducing Barbados' pride to 262 for 9 at stumps. After winning the toss and electing to bat, Red Force relied on a patient 93 from Cephas Cooper, while steady 70 from Captain Joshua Da Silva and contributions from Terrence Hines and Amir Jangu. In reply, Barbados faltered early, losing skipper Craig Brathwaite for a duck, while Joshua Bishop remained unbeaten on 79. However, wickets continued to tumble, with Anderson Phillips starring for Red Force with 4 for 51. Barbados closed the day still 71 runs behind, with just 1 wicket in hand, leaving Red Force firmly in control heading into the next session. And that's what's making the news this morning. But joining us right now is the host of Trinidad and Tobago Today, Virmala Balkaran. Good morning, Virmala, and happy Tuesday.
Carrie, happy Tuesday. How are you today?
I am good. I'm better than yesterday. I'm in better shape, but only slightly.
Yeah, I feel like we just needed a little extra rest, and now we are good to go.
No, I'm a little better to go. I'm not good to go yet.
Okay, hopefully by tomorrow you'll be 100% better.
Hopefully, but you know we have to get over that midweek hump, as they say.
Absolutely. Also, Carrie, did you know that today is International Limerick Day? Do you know what a limerick is? Do you remember?
So I need to be reminded because
wow, Carrie, I don't know how to feel about this. You know,
I mean, I left primary school and secondary school and stuff so long ago. I mean, I don't want to age myself here, but you know, it's a long time.
Your literature teachers are looking on right now, and they're very upset with you. Well, a limerick is actually a short, funny poem. So it follows the pattern, I believe, AABBA. So that's how the rhyme goes. And actually, I came up with one for us on the show today.
You sure it's you who came up with it?
I'm very proud of myself. Okay.
All right. Let's hear a limerick about the show.
Okay. So it goes on Trinidad and Tobago today. They brighten the day. Carrie reads the news in his way, but then Virmala comes in with a smile that can keep the charm for a while, keeping Trinbago in tune to stay.
Santi Manite.
No, it's not example.
No, I know, but I couldn't help it. And it also rhymed.
The rhyme
it also rhymed with everything.
Short,
so I couldn't help myself.
It's funny, it's sweet. You know, it sounds like
sweet.
me.
It is very sweet. Well done.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it.
Short, funny, and sweet. I love that. So it just follows that AABBA pattern. So today, if you want to celebrate Limerick Day, feel free to do that. Post it on your socials and just have a good time with it. We love literature. The lessons really stay with you for the rest of your life.
It does. I mean, even though if people like me sometimes forget the lessons, you know, but...
Yeah, especially when you're watching movies and all that, you're always thinking about, okay, the rain is falling, so they're going to be sad. Pathetic fallacy. It kind of messed me up for a little bit.
Yeah,
absolutely did. Well, also, Carrie, on a more sober note, you know, we've seen so many cases of those hit and run accidents. We've seen also vehicular crashes, lots happening on the roads and not good things. So please, we're urging everyone this morning as you head out today, please be safe.
Yes, please be safe. Please drive for yourself and the other drivers on the road. Drive defensively as much as possible. I know like different companies have defensive driving courses. But, you know, a lot of it is common sense as well, and just being vigilant.
Absolutely, and you can learn all the rules in the book, but it comes down to when you are on the road, what you are going to be doing. Also, yesterday, I saw someone using their hand signal, and I was absolutely impressed. Do you remember those?
Hands? Oh, yes, I do. Like,
I love
when it came to the regulations, when you had to do the written exam before getting your license, I scored really well on that, actually.
Same, I did too. So I love that. So this morning, if you can remember your hand signals and you're watching us right now, try to use them, practice them. You never know when you may actually need to use it.
Yeah, so right, so correct.
All right, Carrie, well, you know the drill. A packed show in store for you today. Did you know that 7 inmates were baptized at the Port of Spain prisons? Yeah, so we're talking all about rehabilitation, you know, a new lease at life, all that.
That is a big transformation.
Yep, with Pastor Wilma Kelly this morning. So a lot about that. Also, the pause in Republic Bank fees. We're going to be talking to Dr. Valmiki Arjun about that when we come back from the break.
That one I will look out for.
All right, Carrie, well, we'll talk soon.
We will. Thank you so much, Virmala.
You're welcome.
When we come back, the Trinidad and Tobago Today morning show gets going after this break.
When it matters, we're there, reporting the news as it happens, because your world can't wait. TTT News, nightly at 7. TTT News, committed, accurate, relevant.
I'm Renee Sion with another edition of Caribbean Week in Review.
Unleash your imagination with TTT's Terrific Toon Time. Join us as we stop evil geniuses from taking over the world on Super Z, or hop on board for a journey into outer space with Galaxy Kids. Be a part of our quest to save the forest alongside our robot pals from Bugspot Ignition. Or let's go exploring with Duda and Dada. It's fun-filled adventure with Terrific Toon Time right here on TTT.
Early prostate cancer has absolutely no signs or symptoms, and that's why we strongly push the men once a year, get out there and get screened with a digital rectal examination and a PSA, prostate-specific antigen, a blood test. Any PSA above 4 is abnormal. All men, once they hit 40 years of age, go and have that PSA test done.
Be viewing Caribbean Medical TV on this station.
Tuesday, 12th May 2026. The time now it is 6:12 a.m. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago and the world. I'm Virmala Balkaran and welcome to Trinidad and Tobago Today. Let's take a look now at what's trending this morning. The Ministry of Health has officially debunked a circulating memorandum claiming that schools would close for 2 weeks due to hantavirus cases, and it labels the document as fake news. Authorities confirmed that the document is fraudulent and was not issued by the ministry, emphasizing that no such health-related closure has been mandated. The public is strongly urged to please stop sharing this misinformation regarding this virus, and please rely exclusively on the ministry's official website and social media channels for verified updates and accurate public health information. And also today is International Nurses Day. So we pause now to say a simple but powerful thank you. Observed every year on May 12th, the day marks the birth of Florence Nightingale. I'm sure you've heard that name quite a few times. The founder of modern nursing, and celebrates the incredible men and women who form the backbone of our healthcare systems around the world and right here in Trinidad and Tobago. This year's theme, Our Nurses, Our Future, reminds us of the urgent need to protect, to respect, and really invest in our nurses, the professionals who are often first to respond, last to rest, and always at the center of care. So from hospitals to communities, nurses deliver compassion under pressure. They strengthen our health systems, and quite literally, they save lives every single day. So today, We say thank you for your sacrifice. Thank you for your service and your unwavering commitment to care. Happy International Nurses Day. And internationally now, U.S. President Donald Trump is saying that he is seriously considering a move to make Venezuela the 51st state of the United States. Did you hear that? The comments made during a recent interview have drawn a firm response from Venezuela's acting president, Delcy Rodriguez, who reaffirmed her country's sovereignty and independence. Speaking in The Hague, Rodriguez stressed that Venezuela is not a colony and said the nation will continue to defend its history, integrity, and territorial rights. The exchange comes at a sensitive moment in relations between both countries as discussions continue around governance, stability, and the future of Venezuela's key oil sector. Well, also today, before I tell you what's coming up inside the show, I want to wish the entire Trinidad and Tobago Today team a very happy 4-month anniversary. I'm pretty sure my entire crew forgot that we started this day on the 12th of January this year. So it's 4 months of so much hard work to the team that started this with me. Thank you so much. I appreciate you every single day. Well, coming up inside today's show, we're joined by Dr. Valmiki Arjun to help us really understand that Republic Bank fee issue. And after that, did you know that 7 inmates were baptized in the prisons? Well, Pastor Wilma Kelly tells us all about her work in rehabilitation. So you know what to do. Grab your cup of coffee and settle in. Trinidad and Tobago Today has begun.
Every client deserves expertise, integrity, and guidance they can trust. At Camino Realty International, we deliver integrated real estate solutions, sales, rentals, property management, and project development. Driven by excellence, transparency, and innovation, we protect value, create opportunity, and build lasting success. Because real estate isn't just about buildings. For more information on our services, log on to CaminoRealty.com or follow us on social media at Camino Realty TT. Camino Realty International, elevating lives one property at a time.
TTT Weather with Zaina James, daily at 7 p.m.
The Mother Church of the Anglican Diocese suffered significant damage during the earthquake of 2018. Efforts are underway to raise funds to restore this national heritage site. You are invited to make your donations with monthly deposits at any branch of the First Citizens Bank, account number 2696950, Marval Road Branch, in the name of the Incorporated Trustees of the Anglican Holy Trinity Cathedral Restoration.
It's that time of the year again, my friends. Feel it in the air. Football, football, football. It's back. Everyone's locked in. This is Richard Torpedo Thompson, and my Trinidad and Tobago people, I'll stay this straight. Fans make the game. Cheers, chants, passion. That's the heartbeat of football. There's only one 12th man that really brings the energy. That's Andre Errol Batiste on TTT. Every Thursday on TTT. Don't miss it.
Hi everybody, I am Leah.
And I'm Dion.
And we are
The Duncans.
Listen, we're here to tell you about a project the Lord has given to us called the Marriage Confessional. It is geared toward married couples, those that are on the road to marriage, and those that want to get married one day.
So join us on TTT and on Facebook and YouTube at TTT Live Online.
The Marriage Confessional, only on TTT.
Last week, Republic Bank's proposed fee increases have sparked widespread public debate across Trinidad and Tobago, raising serious questions about affordability, consumer protection, banking regulation, and the growing financial pressures facing ordinary citizens and, of course, small businesses. The controversy began after the bank announced sweeping increases to a range of everyday banking charges, including overdraft fees, insufficient funds, penalties, loan late payment charges, and transaction fees. And this move triggered backlash from customers, business organizations, and economists, especially against the backdrop of rising living costs and government's recently introduced 0.25% asset levy on commercial banks and insurance companies. So since then, the issue has evolved rapidly. The Trinidad and Tobago Coalition of Services Industries warned the increases could negatively impact SMEs and entrepreneurs. The central bank has stepped in amid mounting public concern. And government officials have rejected claims that the fee hikes are linked to the new levy. And now Republic Bank has announced a pause on the implementation while it reassesses the situation. But beyond all these headlines, what does this entire episode reveal about the state of Trinidad and Tobago's banking sector, consumer confidence, financial regulation, and what about the wider economy? Well, joining me now to break it all down is economist Dr. Valmiki Arjun. Good morning, Dr. Arjun, and welcome to the show.
Hi, good morning. Thank you very much for having me, and good morning to Trinidad and Tobago.
So, Dr. Arjun, what is the structure of banking in Trinidad and Tobago, and what are their main sources of revenue?
Right. So this is directly linked to the fees and how our fee structure works, right? You see, banks in TNT are essentially in the form of an oligopoly. It's very highly concentrated than one can say, right? The sector itself is very, very concentrated.
I do believe we are losing Dr. Arjun here due to some technical difficulties, so we will definitely have him back in just a couple seconds. So this issue has been trending for the past, I would say, week to 2 weeks. You saw a lot of uproar on social media. That is something we've been following closely. And now Republic Bank has said that they are going to pause these fees. Lots of coverage on the news as well about that. Also, our Minister of Finance has come out and weighed in on this. The central bank has also done that. What are your thoughts on the situation? Feel free to let us know. Send us an email at tttoday@ttt.co.tt. And of course, you can comment on our live streams. We are live on Facebook and also YouTube. So send us your questions when we do have Dr. Arjun back on the line with us. So just to recap for you, we are currently talking about Republic Bank's proposed fee increases, some widespread public debates happening across TNT and across social media as well. I do believe we have him back on the line. Good morning again, Dr. Arjun. Sorry about that.
Yes, hi, good morning. Can you hear me properly?
Yes, I do believe we were talking all about the structure of banking, so please feel free to continue.
Right, so the market is very highly concentrated. It's dominated by just a few large banks. So we could say it's oligopolistic, right? What that means is that consumers don't enjoy the benefits of competition within the banking sector. So whenever one bank, traditionally we've seen this, one bank tends to have or push up their fees. At some point later, shortly thereafter, another bank will follow suit, and then the rest of them will follow suit. And what that also means is that a consumer cannot easily switch from one bank to another, right? Because you're paying high fees in one, you're going to be paying high fees likely in another one. And not just that, you don't really easily switch from one bank to another either, because your salaries, your loans, your overdrafts, credit cards, standing orders, among a host of other services, even your foreign exchange relationships, are mainly tied most of the time to one institution. So that gives banks a major pricing power. So when one large bank raises their fees, the concern is not only the impact of that one single increase, but whether it becomes a signal for a wider market, the wider banks, to reprice their banking services. Now, we're talking about the income, the revenues that banks earn here, right? Most of them earn their income from the net interest income, which is really the difference between what they earn on loans when they offer loans to the public, businesses, government, etc., and also what they pay on dividends. On deposits. The difference between what they earn on loans and what they pay on deposits. Now, when we look at Republic, the group, their net interest income would have risen from $5.066 billion in 2024 to about $5.462 billion in 2025. So that shows that their core banking income, the net interest income, is very, very strong. But at the same time, there's another source of income, which is the fees and the commissions. And that comes from credit card fees, account fees when you have to, when they keep accounts for individuals and businesses, etc., the overdraft fees, etc. And in Republic's case, their overall fee income would have risen from $1.257 billion in 2024 to about $1.354 billion in 2025. So well over $1.3 billion. So that suggests that over time, not just Republic, but banks' revenue models are changing, where not only are they paying emphasis on the interest side of their income, but also the fee side of their income, right? And as an economist, I can't help but wonder if that might be partially because in recent years, there's been a surge in government borrowings. And when governments borrow, they pay less interest on those loans. The interest that they pay on loans is very, very low. So is it that they're trying to compensate for any sort of, not necessarily losses, but any sort of lower incomes on the interest side of things and trying to earn more on the fee side of things to kind of compensate from earning a little less on the interest side, even though the interest side is still very, very high. But what that suggests, though, as we've seen in the last decade, is an over-reliance, a growing reliance, rather, on fees, penalty charges, etc., what we in economics call friction-based income. And that causes a banking environment that can be perceived as not developmental, one that might discourage productive spending, weaken investment activity, raising the cost of doing business, and ultimately that works against the broader national objective of stimulating economic growth and overall private sector expansion. You see, banks, their main function is supposed to be accepting deposits from those who have a surplus of money and then giving loans to those who have a deficit of funds, who need that money. That's their main function. But the objective, rather, of commercial banks, especially in this day and age, is shareholder wealth maximization, making as much profits as possible to pay off those high dividends, etc. And we've seen one bank in particular, among others, Republic, their profits, after-tax profits, would have gone up from about $2.27 billion in 2024 to in 2025 about $2.44 billion. And of course, that is quite exorbitant. We've seen these types of profits existing for several years now, including in that time period when the economy was facing, when the economy was essentially in a recession. So what we're finding is that in the banking system, you have large TT dollar deposits, high liquidity, but the lending opportunities might not always be so strong. But when it comes to the fees, the customers are being charged more to access and use their own money. So it's like a quiet form of deposit taxation. You're earning little on your savings, but you're paying more for transactions, and you face penalties when your cash flow is tight and you can't pay your overdraft on time or you can't pay your credit card bill on time. Banks, they're not doing anything illegal, don't get me wrong, but it raises a serious question about fairness, about the balance between profitability and the needs of the wider economy.
Yeah. Now, Dr. Arjun, the fee hike was eventually rescinded. Well, shortly after, I would say, after much uproar. Now, what do you think led to this?
Right. So first of all, I think my suspicion is that there could have been some form of moral suasion on the part of the central bank being the key regulator of the commercial banking institutions. Remember, the current central bank governor is a former commercial banker, senior commercial banker, a former finance minister. Now his most recent capacity is the central bank governor. So this is quite unique for Trinidad and Tobago in that you have a governor who is highly experienced on all ends of the financial system, all major ends of the financial system, and highly respected. So I suspect that as someone highly respected as him, and highly experienced, he may have used his authority to not demand anything, but use moral suasion on the part of the central bank in order to simply ask whether they can hold back on these, at the very least, hold back on these fees right now. Remember, the central bank, their role when it comes to the act, and this would have been made clear by the bank over the last few days, there's an authority to regulate interest rates, fees related to loans, other credit facilities. When it comes to credit, so that's where they can step in, according to the act, right? But they don't have direct fee capping power. What they do have, however, is regulatory influence. So, for example, if at some point they might feel that there's need for them to advocate for legislative reform, they can always do so in order to expand their current powers for banking realities. Because what we have to remember, not just in TNT but around the world, regulators are increasingly recognizing that consumer protection and public trust are very much linked to financial stability itself. So I think at this stage, the central bank might have used some moral suasion and supervisory engagement with the commercial banks. But I think because we are such a concentrated banking sector, where a few large institutions dominate the market, the regulator, the central bank, they might be engaging in ongoing dialogue and supervisory dialogue, even without the formal price-setting powers.
My final question for you this morning, Dr. Arjun, people are dealing with a lot, not just in Trinidad and Tobago, but the world as well, rising grocery prices, utility costs, foreign exchange challenges, lots of different things are happening. But can you break it down for us? What are the economic and financial implications of the high bank fees?
Right. So as you rightly mentioned, we have been operating in somewhat of a difficult economic environment for several years now. Our businesses were facing foreign exchange shortages, high import costs, some of them tighter margins, a weaker demand, etc. Now, the banking fees, of course, adds another layer of costs on the economy. So even if each fee looks small on its own, the total effect across many consumers and businesses would be, when you add it up, it could be significant. Now, what we have to look at, first of all, is the distributional impact, because you have large corporations, they would be the ones least affected by fees, because relative to the size of their operations and the size of their turnover, the fees are small, right? And also large firms, they have ability to negotiate better terms overall when it comes to banks, but SMEs, they're affected more seriously because they rely heavily on things like frequent transactions, overdrafts, check payments, even not being able to pay a credit card bill on time, supplier payments, payroll, forex access, etc., etc. So for small businesses, higher fees accumulate rather quickly and could reduce their profits or unfortunately get passed on to consumers as higher prices. Low-income households as well could face an impact as well, because let's say a $57.50 charge, it means much more to a lower-income worker than a higher-income customer, right? And also there's the concept of financial inclusion. When there are higher fees, it changes the behavior that reduces efficiency of financial inclusion, because some people might prefer to use more cash to avoid charges. Some businesses might delay payments in order to avoid overdraft fees, and others might rely more on informal sources of credit rather or even supplier credit. And that weakens the formal financial system and could reduce transparency and ultimately undermines the push towards the digital payments. So higher fees can push customers ultimately away from formal, traceable, and efficient payment channels. And remember, there's the forex element of it. TNC, the banks are major gatekeepers for foreign currency. Businesses need forex for exports, etc. And when the FX is scarce, the forex is scarce, customers have fewer alternatives. So in that environment, higher charges when you're trying to access foreign exchange, higher charges on sending on bank drafts, sending money abroad, etc. That pushes up the cost of getting foreign exchange even more. It feels like some kind of a scarcity pricing. And that raises the effective cost of accessing foreign currency and it adds to the pressure already faced by importers and households. And there's one major important point, a trust issue. Banks depend on public confidence. So consumers, they accept low deposit rates, strict compliance requirements, strict procedures, etc., because they believe banks are stable and necessary. And they are. The banking institutions in TNC, the banking sector, is very stable, highly capitalized, and in a very safe and excellent position. But what we have to keep in mind is that when a highly profitable bank raises their fees and explains it only by reference to cost without giving an idea of how much these costs are and being transparent as to if the cost is 100 million, 200 million, is there a margin as well attached to that cost? So if they're covering the cost, they're making additional money in fee income as well. Customers will start feeling that the relationship is one-sided. And if people start believing banks are using market power to extract more from them, then trust in the financial system ultimately weakens.
Before we let you go, Dr. Arjun, I know I said one more question. I just have another one for you, which is, do you expect that other banks in Trinidad and Tobago may follow with similar fee increases as well?
Well, I hope that they would take example from Republic Bank, and I mean, at the end of the day, kudos to them, they pulled back on it. And I think also kudos to the central bank for whatever intervention they may have made. And that would send a signal to the others that about the issue of public confidence in the banks and in terms of the public uproar that we would have seen. I suspect they might rethink that. But I think what we have to pay attention to is that, okay, if they're not necessarily pushing up the fees, would there be another response where they might try to earn that additional income through another means by possibly, and this is just speculation here, but one also has to be cognizant of the possibility it could very well happen. Maybe try to push up the rates on loans going forward for a particular group of customers or for a particular sector, that sort of thing. Those sectors that might be deemed more risky than others, or some customers that may be deemed riskier than others but may qualify for a loan. Is there a possibility they might try to earn that additional income on that side of things as opposed to the fee side of things? And I think this is something that the regulator needs to also pay attention to. They may probably already well be paying attention to that also.
Yeah. All right. Before we go, we received a message on our social media streams asking if you would be able to weigh in possibly. This is related, but also maybe a separate question. Approximately how many transactions do you in your knowledge, believe that commercial banks may process every day? I think they're just trying to get a figure of what the amount looks like at the end of the day in terms of profits.
Well, in terms of the amount of transaction that they process every day, I would think it ranges in the thousands, definitely in the thousands. I don't have an exact figure on me, so I don't want to hazard a guess, but certainly within the thousands, and that of course is highly linked to their profitability. I mean, what we've also seen is that it's not just on using an ATM or going in the line to meet a teller and whatnot. I mean, the incidence, the usage of credit cards, for example, is very, very high. Debit cards as well, more so is very, very high. And what we've seen is that the point of sale transactions using debit cards and credit cards have increased on the debit card side. I can't remember the figure for the credit card side now, but the debit card side, the volume of transactions have increased by over 8% within the last year. So the quantum of spending, especially as it pertains to those digital forms, have gone up.
All right, thank you for weighing in on that, Dr. Arjun. We appreciate the time that you took to spend with us this morning and to help us understand all of this. Have a great day.
Thank you.
All right, that was Dr. Valmiki Arjun, economist, talking all about Republic Bank fees that increase now. Ultimately, that pause in those fees, so we'll see where that goes in the coming days. And of course, we'll continue to bring you all the information as it comes to hand. We take a short break, and when we come back, we've got more for you on the show.
Every client deserves expertise, integrity, and guidance they can trust. At Camino Realty International, we deliver integrated real estate solutions, sales, rentals, property management, and project development. Driven by excellence, transparency, and innovation, we protect value, create opportunity, and build lasting success. Because real estate isn't just about buildings. For more information on our services, log on to CaminoRealty.com or follow us on social media at Camino Realty TT. Camino Realty International, elevating lives one property at a time.
Hey, up for this exciting challenge and confident about your business? If you are, the 1020 feature is just what you need. It's where you give your customers 10 reasons in 20 seconds why they should shop by you. This fun-filled feature will be captured, packaged, and aired on television and promoted on social media simultaneously. Small, medium, and large businesses call or WhatsApp 764-3378 or 313-4215. Let's feature your business. 1020 with Junior K. It's affordable, effective, and fun.
The time is now. Right now. Right now. Right now. Right now. Right now. No, not that. Right now.
All I need is one night. We're gonna have to splurge on it. All I need is one night. I went deaf on it. No, not that. Right now. All I need is one night. We're gonna have to splurge on it. All I need is one night. I went deaf on it.
This is the new day.
A new sound, a new style, a new style, a new class. Next 99.1 FM, the next level of radio.
Right now.
Kelly has spent years working with some of society's most vulnerable people, from recovering drug addicts and former gang members to prison inmates seeking a second chance. Now, following a recent baptism ceremony involving 7 inmates at the Port of Spain prison on April 19th, Her work is once again drawing national attention. As senior pastor of the Way of Holiness, Kelly says faith-based outreach is more about religion. It's more about rehabilitation, restoration, and helping individuals rebuild their lives. Well, she joins me now on the show. Good morning, Pastor.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. A blessed day to you, and thank you for being here with us, spending this time with us. You've been doing tremendous work over the years. So tell us, what inspired you to begin prison ministry work and really dedicate your life to helping the vulnerable people?
It was God. It was God. I was a missionary for quite some time in the United States, and I married. My husband was American, and God brought us back to this country, and God told us to work with these type of people. As a matter of fact, the first person I went in to minister to was Junior Grandison at Golden Grove Prison, where an officer took us there to minister to him. And when he got delivered, they were coming with a lot of guns when they were bringing him in. And eventually, when he received Christ and God did a work in his life, he was just coming with 2 officers, and his life had transformed many other lives in the prison. And from then, we continued to YTC. We were recommended to go there. And then we went on to Women Prison. We went to Golden Grove, Port of Spain, Carrera, you name it, we were there. And not just myself. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, Pastor, tell me about the baptism ceremony that involved the 7 inmates at the Port of Spain prison. So tell us about the experience. What was that like for you personally?
It was wonderful. As a matter of fact, that's just what you were given the privilege to see. But we continue. I'm in the prison system for about 30 years. Myself, my mother, who is demised now, and my husband. And even Pamela Filbert was a part of that team. And I've been there for more than 30 years. And even in 2000, we have always had baptism, but it's just the public who never knew about it. But it exists. There was revival continually taking place in there. As a matter of fact, in 2024, we baptized, that year alone, we baptized 236 men. We're in the different prisons. And this year, they saw what took place in December. We had a baptism of 25 at maximum security prison, and we had 12 at Port of Spain prison, and now there is 7. Would you believe that this is the smallest baptism we ever had in the history of being in the prison? This is the one God chose for the public to see and to speak about.
Now, in the lead up to the... Go ahead, it's fine.
What happens is that it's a constant thing. I am at Port of Spain prison twice a week, on Tuesdays and Fridays. And we minister to these men, and you have seen the growth. Some of them have been on life sentences. They have been on death row and is no longer on death row. They have been, so we have been ministering to them. It's not just that you pick them up and baptize them, but over the years, we have seen the change and the transformation in their lives as they receive Christ. As a matter of fact, they get convicted and then converted. As God convicts them and then they get converted. And what you'd find is that if you check with the churches and thing in this country, you'd recognize that many of them they are opening up. They have been opening up and speaking the truth. They are confessing to the crimes that they have committed, and that is what is the tremendous thing. And I also believe that the media should spend a lot of time finding out, even from the prison, because there's so much information that's taking place that is very good, that is not being shared with the public. But you are seeing transformation, as you say. Of course, I'm excited. I'm excited when they show me an individual that they call totally wicked and bad, and God touches them as I minister the gospel, and I see transformation. Not only do I see transformation, but they become, when you look at this, they become orderlies. I remember Alwyn Lynch once when we got into about maybe 25, 26 years ago. I remember Alwyn Lynch. was one, they say he was so cantankerous and he could not be saved. And they said, Pastor Kelly, I want you, if you could get that man converted, we would believe. And Alwyn Lynch, he got converted. And as you would know, he was one who was in the coup and things like that. And he got converted and he became the pastor of the church. So what we are seeing here is not a game, but there are so many, like one of the gentlemen you're seeing there baptizing, that is Anthony Worrell. He's now an apostle and is ministering in different parts of the world. And he was one of those men. Wayne Chance, I was Wayne Chance, myself and my husband was Wayne Chance pastors. You know, as Gary Grant, we were their pastor. So there are many men that are out there that we were their pastors. Many men that were all on life sentences and things like that, we were their pastors, you know, for over the years. So the public is now getting the opportunity to see. I guess God waited for an appointed time for him to show us that he is God and allow them to know your prayer is not in vain, it's working. While you're praying, do not look at what you're seeing, because we're not fighting against flesh. We are fighting against flesh and blood. It's not humanly possible that a man could cut off the neck of another individual and eat and act normal. It is spiritual. And this is the reason why we need a divine intervention and we need God to show us. We need God to work through us to touch the lives of these men. I want you, as I'm speaking today, I don't want you to give up because it is working. Don't look at what you're seeing on the outside. Men are being converted and accepting Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior, and you are seeing the conversion.
So, Pastor, tell us before the ceremony and after the ceremony, what experiences or conversations did they have with you? Can you share that with us?
Oh, sure. Well, first thing you would see, there would be joy and repentance. And many of them, what I recognize, I want to share this piece. What I recognize that out of 99% of the men that is incarcerated, most of them, they are not married, never was married. So they come now and when you start to speak, they start to express love, express the way they care, repenting, they continue with repentance. Some would even shed tears and cry and tell you who they used to be. And when Christ come into their heart, what they would change it, their heart started to soften. And now they started to, even the men, when they had a problem with one another, they would go and ask for forgiveness. And you see the total transformation. So it's like they're waiting. Many times they're waiting to be prayed for. They're waiting for God to touch them. They recognize that nothing can happen unless God touches them. And one of the things after the baptism, there's such a joy and there's such a brotherhood that when the men get together, they hug each other, they cry for each other, they hold on together. I'm so sorry that you could not have gotten anything to see what really takes place. It is just so awesome to see God work in their situation. And you see the changes rapidly in their lives.
Now, Pastor
Imagine
Kelly,
there are so many men that you see. Yes, there. Go ahead.
Yeah. In your experiences, what are some of the biggest challenges that the former inmates face when they're trying to rebuild their lives and reintegrate into society?
Yeah. I want to cry. When they come out, even when they are transformed, to get jobs, it's very difficult to move out. Sometimes we have to move them out of the environment. I also do rehabilitation. We have a center of restoration where we take individuals. It's not government funded, it's by charity that people give towards it. At present, I have about 10 persons with me right now, 10 persons with me right now, and all I provide work. I'm building. I have a place that of restoration that is being built in Whiteland, and I find work for them to do. So sometimes so I find work, I minister the gospel, and I take the money and I give them a salary so that they could continue, because There are many who are really trying. People don't understand. So instead, like I was building a building and I continue to build more just to keep them occupied, just to keep some of them that they could get a salary. Some have loved ones and they really want to go back to their loved ones, but there's nothing prepared for after they come back and receive Christ to really assist them to make that change. That is what we long for. We long for more places to get them when they come out of that environment that they can fit back in until they catch themselves so that they can move on and fit back into society the way they should.
Well, Pastor Kelly, before we wrap up this morning, what brief message would you like to send to our viewers this morning about hope, forgiveness, the power of second chances, rehabilitation?
Because I see and I do deliverance, which means I pray and cast out demons out of people. And I see the manifestation of these things and I know how real they are. I want you to just give them a second chance. It's so easy to commit a crime. Someone would come to you and your anger would just rage in you. That is all, you cannot even express it. I remember I had a young man just recently and he came, his mother brought him off the street and he said to me, Pastor, just feel like killing somebody. He said, Pastor, I can't help it. I was in Tobago. And I said to him, he said, Pastor, take me to St. Anne's. Let them take me to St. Anne's because the way I'm feeling. So I had to tell the mother, she took him to Ward 1 in San Fernando General Hospital and brought him back because I was not there to pray for him. And it's because the feeling is something that they can't control. It's real. Many people don't know, but we could pray people through because you never know if it's your family. It's demonic. It's not normal. I pray that you could forgive because you never know. It's because you've never been attacked before, so you don't understand this realm. And you know what? Yeah. When you see a little child in your village, please help them. Please assist. Pastor, if you see them going wrong, try.
Yeah, Pastor, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We have to head to the news. Thank you for being here. We will definitely have you back with us. Have a beautiful and blessed day. And thank you for sharing that with us.
Pleasure. God bless you.
All right, take care. The power of hope, forgiveness, and transformation. We head to the news with Carrie at the top of the hour. We take a break before that. See you on the other side. 7 to 8, we continue with the show.
The plays that shake the arenas. The stories that move a nation. From football to cricket, track to tennis, every win, every rivalry, every headline. This is where Trinidad and Tobago come for sports.
TTT Sports with Nasira Mohammed, daily at 7 p.m. Whatever the skies bring, stay prepared with TTT Weather. Committed, accurate, relevant.
Since 1972, one sound has been living in the heart of Trinidad and Tobago, the longest running radio station in the nation.
We're your holiday soundtrack, whether it's on your day off, long drives, or house lives. We are always sweet.
Always 100. This is music with meaning, music with memories.
Music that feels like home.
And it's not just the songs, it's the voices you trust, personalities you've grown with.
Laughter that sounds familiar. This isn't just radio, it's tradition. It's memories. It's part of who we are.
Sweet 100.1 FM, the rhythm of our identity, part of your family.
Always 100, got you on your way. Sweet 100, sweet 100.
I'm Jamila Bannister.
host of the Socially Safe podcast, the new TTPS podcast where we share real stories, teach real lessons, and create real impact. From online safety and youth crime to community policing and personal responsibility, we go beyond the headlines and talk about what's happening in our communities with the officers and experts who are on the front lines. Because safety starts with awareness, conversation, and action. Tune in to the Socially Safe podcast on the TTPS YouTube channel, listen on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Don't miss it.
Watch on TTT, Mondays 6 p.m., Tuesdays 1:10 p.m.
More news, more access, more ways to stay informed. TTT News covers the stories that matter on air and online. Join us nightly at 7. TTT News, committed, accurate, relevant.
Good morning, this is your TTT News Update. I'm Carrie Roberts. Making the news at this time. Minister of Culture and Community Development, Michelle Benjamin, said the decision to rename the National Carnival Commission is still before the Cabinet. Speaking to members of the media following the official launch of Napa Jazz Fusion 2026 on Monday, the minister said the recommendation was made by Carnival stakeholders during the Blueprint of Carnival public consultations.
That matter is still before Cabinet, so I can't make any pronouncement because that is a Cabinet decision. It's not my decision alone, but yes, consultation did happen. And as you will appreciate, we do have other festivals, and that was actually one of the recommendations that came out of the consultations, and all of that information would be made public information. We would put it out in the public domain, but that is before Cabinet.
The Trinidad and Tobago Electricity Commission continues efforts to strengthen internal communication with members of its board and senior executive team engaging staff during a series of meet and greet visits across East and Southeast Trinidad. Led by the chairman, Anil Kamal, and general manager, Ian Ramratan, the team began the exercise last week at the Commission's Tumpuna Road facility in Arima, interacting with field crews before they headed out. The walkthrough continued at customer service centers in Arima, Sangre Grande, and Rio Claro, marking the 4th such engagement for the year, following earlier visits to 11 locations nationwide. During the sessions, executive also met with representatives from key unions, gaining insight into daily operations while reinforcing commitments to safety, training, and service delivery. As TNTech celebrates its 80th anniversary, the leadership also recognized the contributions of past and present employees. Mr. Ramratan says that the initiative is about fostering open dialogue and strengthening the organization's culture as it works to better serve the public. The team is expected to continue the visits in Tobago and additional central divisions in the coming weeks. In other news, the Ministry of Health has categorized a memo being circulated regarding the temporary closure of schools as fake news. In a media release, the ministry is urging the public not to share or disseminate the inaccurate information in the fake memo. For verified and official updates, the ministry said persons are advised to visit the ministry's official website and social media platforms. In some sport news now, the Trinidad and Tobago Football Association is mourning the loss of former footballer Randy Ramcharan, who died Saturday while playing in the Edinburgh 500 Masters football tournament. He was 45 years old. Randy Ramcharan, a midfielder, was widely celebrated as one of the standout players from St. Augustine Secondary School's renowned Green Machine program and remained active in the sport with the St. Augustine Old Boys up to his passing. During his club career, he represented Caledonia AIA, Docks Kelwalas, and the Harlem Strikers in the Central Football Association Premier Division. The TTFA, on behalf of President Kieran Edwards and the Executive Committee, extended condolences to Ramcharan's family, friends, former teammates, and schoolmates at this time. And that's what's making the news at this time. When we return, it's hour number 2 of Trinidad and Tobago Today.
If it matters to you, it matters to us. We report the news, real stories in real time. TTT News, nightly at 7. TTT News, committed, accurate, relevant.
for this exciting challenge and confident about your business? If you are, the 10-20 feature is just what you need. It's where you give your customers 10 reasons in 20 seconds why they should shop by you. This fun-filled feature will be captured, packaged, and aired on television and promoted on social media simultaneously. Small, medium, and large businesses call or WhatsApp 764-3378 or 313-4215. Let's feature your business. 1020 with Junior K. It's affordable, effective, and fun.
I'm Jamila Bannister, host of the Socially Safe podcast, the new TTPS podcast where we share real stories, teach real lessons, and create real impact. From online safety and youth crime to community policing and personal responsibility, we go beyond the headlines and talk about what's happening in our communities with the officers and experts who are on the front lines. Because safety starts with awareness, conversation, and action. Tune in to the Socially Safe podcast on the TTPS YouTube channel, listen on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Don't miss it.
Watch on TTT, Mondays 6 p.m., Tuesdays 1:10 p.m.
Barcelona drawing a game, not winning their first set of game. Worried, concerned.
Emotional damage is fun to see.
What a wonderful finish. Corner
You see it, so let me come again, one more time.
Well, once again, we're at summer's doorstep. The action is picking up with a variety of events that'll thrive alongside all of the popular attractions. Hello everyone, I'm Aidan St. Agath and welcome to Caribbean Passport TV.
All eyes will be on Antigua this summer for the 2026 Carnival celebrations, to which everyone is invited to feel the rhythm. With over 2 months of pre-events to warm things up, Antigua and Barbuda is event and activity driven. So if eco-adventure and marine life are among your passions, then Scooter Snorkeling is the tour company for you.
Welcome back to Trinidad and Tobago Today on TTT. Well, today we're recognizing the professionals who work quietly behind the scenes to ensure that the spaces that we use every day, from offices and hospitals to airports, schools, government, buildings, and public facilities remain safe, efficient, functional, and welcoming. As the world marks World FM Day 2026 on Wednesday, May 13th, under the theme FM Cultivating Belonging in the Built Environment, we're joined by two representatives from the International Facility Management Association. Well, joining me this morning, President Edward Casal and Secretary Jackie Giddens. And today we'll discuss the growing role of facility management across Trinidad and Tobago and the wider Caribbean, the profession's evolution over the years, and the exciting transformation of the TNT chapter into the new IFMA Caribbean chapter. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for being here with us. So, FMD and facility management. Now, a lot of people may not be very familiar with that profession, or at least what it actually means. You hear the term and then you don't realize you know exactly what this is. So tell us, what exactly is facility management, and why is it becoming increasingly important in today's world?
Okay, so facilities management is really a multi-dimensional profession or industry, depends how you look at it. A lot of people just assume it's the maintenance of buildings, and by buildings we mean all sorts of buildings, from manufacturing to commercial to airports, hospitals, TV stations. But it includes everything to do with the property, including workspace design, including maintenance, security, reception, cleaning, everything that enhances the user's experience of the building and enhances the value of the building to society and to the owners of the building.
So it is definitely a critical set of careers, the upkeep of things and ensuring that, we get to go every single day to buildings that are functioning well. Yeah, so the theme for World FM Day 2026 is FM, cultivating belonging in the built environment. So tell us exactly what does that mean? What does cultivating belonging mean, especially when it comes to buildings and public spaces?
Yes, so morning. So linking to what Edward mentioned about all the aspects of facility management, when you think about your experience when you enter a facility, the things that you remember, for some persons it would be the welcome smile from the security officer or the receptionist. Is all about also access to the facility, the ease of access. So making considerations in design for persons with disabilities, having ramp access, handrails, all of those things are what makes the experience, not just for employees of a facility, but also visitors to the facility. It also includes, when you design a facility, you make the link between your architect and the engineer for the structural side of it. And that also includes now the company culture should be projected in that design, as well as the safety aspects in the design itself for the building. You also, in some cases, like government institutions and stuff, you have to now also factor in the image of the country and the culture of the country. So all of that is what is part of inclusion.
A lot that goes into all of this, and we don't see what happens behind the scenes. Now, I know that I believe 10 to 15 years ago, many organizations in Trinidad and Tobago didn't really have dedicated FM departments, if I'm correct about that figure. So what changes have you seen locally and regionally since then?
So when I've been practicing FM as part of, I was an operations manager. So I would have been doing FM as part of what I was doing. And then about 13 years ago, I came into the industry formally. And at that time, nobody knew what FM was. You hardly ever saw an advertisement. Most companies didn't have those departments. Now we're seeing advertisements in the press. We're seeing a surge in demand for professional development, which we provide. And we're seeing most companies having a facilities officer, facilities department. They may not always understand how to strategically use it in the organization, but they at least have it. At least it's a step in the right direction. So we want to believe that we and other groups like us have at least all the advocacy we've been doing over the years has maybe helped a little bit, to help that trend. So.
To add to what Edward is saying too, is also truly being in the profession for 10 plus years is also very fulfilling. Rewarding really, because what you get as a facility manager, it may not be day-to-day praise, but you feel fulfilled when you see the way or you get the feedback from person's experience when they come to your facility. It could be from their smile. Some person will tell you directly how they felt. So it's a very rewarding profession. for anybody who's interested in going into it. I could speak from my experience. It's really rewarding and fulfilling.
Yeah. I know, as in any industry, when the workers, when the employees, the people that make up the profession are happy and they're well managed and their, interests are taken care of, they will obviously in turn work better, and then people will have a better experience with them. And it really multiplies all the work that is being done in this sector. Now, I know that the IFME, well, you say IFMA, the Trinidad and Tobago chapter was formed quite a while ago. So it's almost a decade, I believe. Now, I know you're evolving into the Caribbean chapter. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Okay, so the local chapter, the Trinidad chapter, was actually formed in 2008, so almost 20 years. And it was a small group that has grown over time. And it was always part of the conversation about representing the Caribbean, because many of the smaller countries just not big enough to support a chapter. And we ended up with, we always have had a few Caribbean people in our chapter, even though they don't live here. And when we went virtual during COVID, of course, that made it a lot easier for people to participate from other countries. So, and that has continued. We've grown from strength to strength until we got to the point where globally they asked, well, are you ready to move? So we actually, as of January this year, became the Caribbean chapter. Headquarters in Trinidad, yes, for now, but we encompass 28 countries.
Wow.
Primarily the English-speaking Caribbean and Guyana, Suriname, Belize. And yeah, so we've doubled in size in the last 3 months, and now everything we do is a Caribbean focus and a Caribbean reach.
Now, going hand in hand with that evolution of the chapter, there's also the growing demand for professional training and I know certification in facility management. So that is a very interesting development. So tell us about what programs might be currently available, more people pursuing them now, for anyone looking on this morning who may want to be a part of this dynamic career. How can they, get certified?
Okay, so we have Edward here, who's actually one of the facilitators for all these certificate courses that we have. So starting with, we have the essentials of facility management. Then we have 3 credential or certification courses. So we have certified facility manager, which is a credential that you have to renew the certification every 2 to 3 years. Then we have 2 other credential courses. We have the Facility Professional Management Certification, which is a lifetime certification. And then that's actually the one that's the most demanded in industry right now. And it has been increasing through the years. And then the last one, which is one that I'm very passionate about and recently was certified in, is the Sustainability Facility Professional. And that, from a regional perspective, now that we expand into the Caribbean chapter, is really a big push. So we expect to see a lot of interest growing with that particular credential, and is also a lifetime credential.
Well, before we wrap up, Edward, just as we celebrate World FM Day tomorrow, what would you like to leave with our viewers about this dynamic sector?
I would say, wherever you are, find out who runs your building. Find out who is the facilities manager and find out what they do. If you are responsible for properties, look into what are you doing and how can you do it better. And if you're interested in the profession, join the chapter, look for us, join the chapter, give us a call, we're happy to talk.
I do believe we also had their website on the screen for you. That's ifmacaribbean.org. And here we can see a little bit of information about World FM Day. Well, thank you very much for joining us this morning, Edward and Jackie. Remember their website, again, that's ifmacaribbean.org. So go ahead and join the chapter if this is something that you are interested in. All right, we take another break, and when we come back, the time now 7:17. We continue with the show. Up next, we are joined by the Digicel Foundation. After that, we talk all about the European Film Festival.
Every client deserves expertise, integrity, and guidance they can trust. At Camino Realty International, we deliver integrated real estate solutions, sales, rentals, property management, and project development. Driven by excellence, transparency, and innovation, we protect value, create opportunity, and build lasting success. Because real estate isn't just about buildings. For more information on our services, log on to CaminoRealty.com or follow us on social media at Camino Realty TT. Camino Realty International, elevating lives one property at a time.
Early prostate cancer has absolutely no signs or symptoms, and that's why we strongly push the men once a year, get out there and get screened with a digital rectal examination and a PSA, prostate-specific antigen, a blood test. Any PSA above 4 is abnormal. All men, once they hit 40 years of age, go and have that PSA test done.
Be viewing Caribbean Medical TV on this station.
Hi everybody, I am Leah.
And I'm Dion.
And we are
The Duncans.
Listen, we're here to tell you about a project the Lord has given to us called the Marriage Confessional. It is geared toward married couples, those that are on the road to marriage, and those that want to get married one day.
So join us on TTT and on Facebook and YouTube at TTT Live Online.
The Marriage Confessional, only on TTT.
Up for this exciting challenge and confident about your business? If you are, the 1020 feature is just what you need. It's where you give your customers 10 reasons in 20 seconds why they should shop by you. This fun-filled feature will be captured, packaged, and aired on television and promoted on social media simultaneously. Small, medium, and large businesses call or WhatsApp 764-3378 or 313-4215. Let's feature your business. 1020 with Junior K. It's affordable, effective, and fun.
I'm Renee Sion with another edition of Caribbean Week in Review.
Well, this morning we're highlighting an exciting opportunity for NGOs and community groups across TNT as the Digicel Foundation launches its 2026 EPIC Grants Program, Extraordinary Projects Impacting Communities. And this year, through a partnership with Shell Trinidad and Tobago, the initiative will invest $1.2 million TT into projects focused on sustainability, livelihoods, and digital growth, with 10 organizations each receiving $100,000 TT in grant funding. Well, joining me this morning, Penny Gomez, CEO of the Digicel Foundation, and Risa Brathwaite, Social Performance and Social Investment Advisor at Shell Trinidad and Tobago. Good morning, ladies, and welcome.
Good morning.
Well, EPIC is celebrating its 10th year in 2026. So what does this all mean, this anniversary? What does it mean for the Digicel Foundation, and how has the program evolved from where it started to where it stands today?
I can't even believe it's 10 years. That's so amazing. What a magnitude. It really started because we realized that there was a deficiency in terms of the grants by, let's say, international donor agencies for particularly for small NGOs, small grants, what we call small grants. So we decided to sort of jump into that space. And so it started off as giving 5,000 US grants, about $35,000 dollars. It started there. And there was just so much interest in these grants by community groups, by NGOs, that we felt that we should really just have tackle it different. Look at systemic problems, but just make sure that the investment in it would be a lot more so that we can really have long-lasting impact. So we did that, and we were able to do that even more so with Shell Trinidad and Tobago coming on board. This is our third year with Shell. And so we were able to even create further impact on our footprint when it comes to those extraordinary projects impacting communities.
So I know that this year also marks a significant development in partnership with Shell. So what brought Shell on board, Risa? Why did it feel right to join forces with the foundation for this partnership with EPIC?
Oh, easy question for me and easy decision for us to make. Over the years at Shell, we've been thinking a lot about how we can transform our impact or have a different impact on society. And we've just been throwing ideas around, how can we create that magic? And in 2023, when the foundation approached us, it just seemed like everything came together. Here was a partner who had the same values and the same aspirations as us to continue to impact communities in a meaningful and sustainable way, as Penny said. And I have seen firsthand some of these organizations, the 30 organizations we've supported so far, harness the power of the sun, harness the power of the rain, harness the power of technology to address homelessness, health issues, to address illiteracy issues. We've seen that, it's a great partnership with solid community leaders that we can have a strong impact in society. And this is why Shell was so, excited to create this magic with the Digicel Foundation and to continue to be a partner for the next couple of years with them.
Now, I know that there are 3 specific areas that the grants are focusing on this year. I believe it is environmental sustainability, resource-based livelihoods, and technology and digitalization. So why these 3 themes, and what do they really say about the challenges and the opportunities that are facing communities in TNT right now?
I guess I'll answer then, and then Ruth can come on. But we really look to see what's happening current affairs-wise. We look to see what's happening and where there are gaps. We look to address systemic issues. So we know that environmental sustainability, that's a key area to address worldwide. So we wanted to make sure that we give business the opportunity to come up with innovative ways to really affect change and to look at solutions to these systemic issues. When it comes to the second area, resource-based livelihoods, and that's everything from utilizing like natural resources, farming, agriculture, fisheries, crafts. That's also important because we know that entrepreneurial opportunities and what we call our social investment programs, that's in itself is an area that is of concern as we try for people to secure livelihoods across communities and holding each other's hand in doing so and community benefiting, on our own. And of course, with digitalization, our current company is a digital lifestyle provider, and we know that where the world is going. So we don't want to add to the problem. We want to help along with it. So we want to make sure that if we are going to increase that digital footprint, that we are giving all our stakeholders the capability to really thrive in that world. So along with that comes opportunities for training, setting up digital enabled labs so that they learn along with it and that they are really equipped as digital citizens.
Well, thank you for that, Penny. We also do apologize for the distortion in the audio just a bit. We have a few technical issues with that audio stream, but thank you for that response, Penny. Now, Risa, let me ask you about the grant now, the EPIC Cycle grant. So who is eligible to apply? How can you apply? And what are you looking for in a grant recipient?
So actually, I'll split this answer with Penny, but let me start by saying that it's critical for us that the organizations that apply are credible. They have legitimacy in their community. They're registered properly with the government. They have their evidence of annual return. They have a certificate of incorporation. They can demonstrate that they have a bank account, a good governance structure, meaning they have an executive full of real people with real responsibilities that can deliver this program. We're also looking for people who, have experience doing similar type projects and managing funding, they need to be able to demonstrate to us that they do have that experience running projects in communities and organizing collective initiatives. There's also something very important, which is that the process is not just about filling out an application, submitting it, and hoping for the best. If you are successful, you also need to pitch to a panel of judges. And so you need to be able to articulate and communicate to us exactly what this project will do, how it will do it, and what are the results we will see in society. So that's really the starting point for the process, but I'll let Penny speak to how they can apply.
Right, so they can go to our website, digisalfoundation.org, and then you'll find the application form there, and it really goes into what's required. And it's a short list of community groups, and it's really not. You can't hear me.
Yes, we can hear you, Penny. Yes.
Okay, fine. So NGOs, NPOs, faith-based organizations, public schools can apply, and those are the particular target areas for funding. And when you apply, of course, we go through, we do our screening, and then the shortlist, and like Mr. said, for shortlisted will be required to pitch before a panel of members of both boards and of Shell and Digital Foundation. So it's a very rigorous process because we want to ensure at the end of it that we really select the best 10. We are now 170 projects later, and we are now 9.8 million TT dollars invested later. So you can rest assured by the time we reach the final 10 that they really are the creme de la creme of the thousands of applications that we've got over the years.
Risa, I have one more question for you before we wrap up this morning. What does it mean for Shell to be a part of something so amazing?
Oh, it means everything. One of the things that I was talking to my husband about last night was the power of magical thinking, right? This idea that you can turn ideas into reality if only you believe. And we meet so many people through this epic partnership that have proven that you can take the smallest idea and have the largest impact in society. And for Shell, it feels good to be part of this kind of meaningful initiative. And I think for the communities, it feels great to have the support of organizations like the Digital Foundation and Shell working with them in such a hands-on way. So it's really been great for us, and we continue to enjoy this epic partnership and experience.
All right. Thank you, ladies, so much for being here this morning. And I'll give all the information about how you can apply afterwards. So thank you and have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Have an epic day, actually. All right. Well, if you want more information about that, head across to www.digicelfoundation.org. Again, that's www.digicelfoundation.org. That is on the screen for you now to apply for these epic opportunities. Well, the time now just about 7:31 in Trinidad and Tobago. Keep sending us your emails at tttoday@ttt.co.tt if you want to be a part of the show. And for everything that you see here and more, remember you can access it a little later on at TTT Live Online. Our social media channels are on the screen for you now. We're on all these platforms. Also, thank you for engaging with us on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook. We see all your comments and we love your contributions. You can also collaborate with us through the airwaves of Talk City 91.1 FM, Sweet 100.1 FM, and Next 99.1 FM. Well, speaking of our sister stations, we link up with them from tomorrow through Friday, so look out for that. We come back with more.
Since 1972, one sound has been living in the heart of Trinidad and Tobago, the longest running radio station in the nation.
We're your holiday soundtrack, whether it's on your day off, long drives, or house lives. We are always sweet.
Always 100.
This is music with meaning, music with memories.
Music that feels like home.
And it's not just the songs, it's the voices you trust, personalities you've grown with.
Laughter that sounds familiar.
This isn't just radio, it's tradition.
It's memories. It's part of who we are.
Sweet 100.1 FM, the rhythm of our identity, part of your family.
Always 100, guide you on your way. Sweet 100, sweet 100.
Every client deserves expertise, integrity, and guidance they can trust. At Camino Realty International, we deliver integrated real estate solutions, sales, rentals, property management, and project development. Driven by excellence, transparency, and innovation, we protect value, create opportunity, and build lasting success. Because real estate isn't just about buildings. For more information on our services, log on to CaminoRealty.com or follow us on social media at Camino Realty TT. Camino Realty International, elevating lives one property at a time.
I'm Jamila Bannister, host of the Socially Safe podcast, the new TTPS podcast where we share real stories, teach real lessons, and create real impact. From online safety and youth crime to community policing and personal responsibility, we go beyond the headlines and talk about what's happening in our communities with the officers and experts who are on the front lines. Because safety starts with awareness, conversation, and action. Tune in to the Socially Safe podcast on the TTPS YouTube channel, listen on Apple Podcasts, and on Spotify. Don't miss it.
Watch on TTT, Mondays, 6 p.m., Tuesdays, 1:10 p.m.
Unleash your imagination with TTT's Terrific Toon Time. Join us as we stop evil geniuses from taking over the world on Super Z, or hop on board for a journey into outer space with Galaxy Kids. Be a part of our quest to save the forest alongside our robot pals from Bugspot Ignition. Or let's go exploring with Duda and Dada. It's fun-filled adventure with Terrific Toon Time right here on TTT.
Well, we return this morning with some breaking news from the Sister Isle. A search operation is underway in the bay near Goodwood after the body of an infant was reportedly spotted floating in the water this morning. Now, according to reports, a CPAP worker working along the beach alerted police after making this discovery. Authorities have since launched a search in the area, but rough sea conditions and poor visibility are currently hampering efforts as anxious relatives and residents are looking on. And police are saying that the baby had been reported missing since around 7:30 p.m. yesterday, and this prompted a frantic overnight search. Of course, we will update you as information comes to hand on that situation. And also stay tuned to all our social media platforms and TTT Live Online for the updates as they come to us. Well, moving on with the show this morning, this year marks a major milestone for the European Film Festival Trinidad and Tobago as it celebrates 30 years of bringing European cinema and culture to audiences across Trinidad and Tobago. Running from May 5th to the 28th, the festival will showcase films from 9 countries along with school screenings, filmmaking workshops, and special guest appearances, including award-winning directors. Well, joining us this morning to tell us more about this festival is Her Excellency Cristina Perez Gutierrez, Ambassador of the Kingdom of Spain, and also Mr. Alfonso Kenan, Head of Consular and Cultural Affairs. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here with us to tell us all about the EFF. So let's do that. Let's start by talking about it. What is the European Film Festival and what is the aim of this?
Yeah, well, for us it's very important to be this year part of the film festival because it's the 30th anniversary, and I think it's a very important initiative to bring Europe near to Trinidad and Tobago. After 30 years, I think it's, well, as a matter of fact, it's the longest running and the first film festival that we have here in Trinidad and Tobago. And it's a very nice way to approach societies from both sides of the Atlantic. In this European festival, we participate not only EU states, but also films that have been financed somehow by the European Union. This year, as you know, is not a EU, but a European festival, because we have one state that is participating that is not a EU member state, which is Turkey.
Wow, that's interesting. So that's one of the changes. Any more developments that have occurred over the past few years with this festival?
Yes, apart from Turkey, we also have countries that do not have an embassy in Port of Spain that are participating. I'm thinking of Ireland, of Poland, of Italy, among others. And we also have been back to one cinema, IMAX, in One Woodbrook, since the festival has changed its venues from the last years. It has been in Cinema Deluxe, it started, then it went to Movie Town, it's been all over around the place, UTT, even in Tobago for some years. It was still on during the pandemic online, and this year it's in IMAX.
Now, would you be able to share a little bit about the lineup of the films and the activities and even maybe the selection process behind this year's program?
Well, Spain is participating this year. We usually participate every year, but we are very glad to see that this year we are participating with two films. One is the one that is going to be screened tomorrow on the 14th of May, and I would like to invite everybody to attend. And it's a film that has been very much awarded in Spain. They have been awarded with 10 Goya prizes. For us, Goya prizes is like the Spanish Oscars. So it's a very good film that I wish that you can enjoy with us. But we are also participating in another kind of festival that we also usually organize with secondary school people. And this one is a film which is Mortadelo y Filemón, which is very much awarded and very, very interesting and enjoyable film. So I wish that you have the opportunity to accompany us in the two screenings that we are going to do.
Yeah. Now, over the years, how has the Trinidad and Tobago audience really responded to European cinemas? How have you seen that response been? And has the interest in international storytelling been growing?
I think it has grown. I think maybe as it happens to most of us, when we go and see a movie with subtitles, we might be a bit lazy, you know, but over the years, I think the interest for international cinema and for European cinema especially has increased thanks to big figures of Spanish cinema. I'm thinking last October we brought for the last EFF a Spanish film with Penélope Cruz and Javier Bardem. So those big actors and those big figures of the European cinema, I think it has helped to increase the interest in European cinema over the last years and in Trinidad and Tobago.
Also with social media, a lot of young people are consuming a lot more of films like that and content. So obviously, you know, the interest is peaking and this would be a wonderful opportunity. I also know that you have students, you're hosting students for workshops and all of that. So tell us, why was it important to include the young people?
So, you know, as you were saying, students make use of their phones so much lately, sometimes not in the best way. So we're having, as the ambassador was saying, the screening of two films, a French one and a Spanish one, for secondary students. And while some students will be watching or seeing the films, some other groups will be participating in a workshop of responsible filmmaking with their phones. So I think it's really impossible to prevent students from using their phones. So let us make them responsible use of them with responsible filmmaking, with two young filmmaking artists from UE, fantastic people that will show them how to actually produce films with something they have every day in their pocket.
Love that. That is really interesting. Now, Ambassador, can you tell us, how do we attend this event? Is there a cost attached to all of this?
Okay, well, the event is free of charge. Everybody can join us, and we will be very happy to host everybody. I think IMAX has a very nice venue, and also you can enjoy popcorn and drinks, whatever. So I think it's a great opportunity. I also wanted to mention something, if you allow me, that it's not the first time that we do this kind of events in the Caribbean. For us, cultural diplomacy, in which we take all the cinema issues, is very important. As a matter of fact, in Spain, we have been having a Directorate General to promote culture and education since 1945. So it's a big part of our work. I wanted to let you know that last week I was in Barbados participating in the 50th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between EU and Barbados, and we had also a film festival there, and we have screened this film with a lot of success. So I wanted to tell you that if you go, you are not going to regret. You are going to enjoy very much. But for Trinidad and Tobago, we have a second film for the secondary school that we didn't have the opportunity to screen in Barbados. So please accompany us to both films and also to the workshop that I think that is very, very interesting.
Thank you for that, Ambassador. And before we go, Alfonso, what would you tell viewers or someone who has never attended the festival before? Why should they come?
I think they should come because, well, it's free, so they have nothing to lose. But especially, I think the best thing about the European Film Festival is the diversity of films that we'll be screening. We'll have comedies, we have thrillers, we have dramas, different languages, it's just a chance to discover European culture and fantastic authors. And maybe sometimes we tend to, focus on other film industries. And I think there's so much to discover from some excellent films that we're bringing. And you have plenty of opportunities of seeing a film. There's even 9 of them standing out. Well, we would say obviously the Spanish film, but also the European Union documentary with the presence of the director that will be answering questions from the audience. So I think having the opportunity to have questions and answers with a director that has been awarded so many prizes is a fantastic and unique opportunity.
The thing about books and also films is that it allows you to see different cultures and opens up your eyes to the world without even having to jump on a plane, so you can see how other cultures and other languages and everything operate. Anywhere we can get more information on this?
On the website, no?
Yeah, on the social media. The EFF has a social media page. Also, the embassies present in Trinidad and Tobago will be promoting all the screenings. So I think that's the easiest way. They can also ask at IMAX. All the screenings will be there at 6 p.m. So we already have the first film Thursday, and from this Thursday on, we'll have films almost every day.
Yeah, we have that information on the screen for you now. That website, it's euffto.com, and it takes place all the way until the 28th. So you still have about almost 2 weeks to go. Yeah. So you still have some time to get there. Please.
And if you allow me, for the young people, it's from the 18th to the 22nd of May. Okay. The secondary school.
The schools workshops. Yes. So you can go to this website. Once again, that's euffto.com to get all the information. Well, thank you, Ambassador, and thank you, Alfonso, for joining us this morning. Just about 14 minutes before 8 o'clock. We've got the news at the top of the hour, but not just yet. So much more when we come back from this break.
The plays that shake the arenas. The stories that move a nation. From football to cricket, track to tennis, every win, every rivalry, every headline. This is where Trinidad and Tobago come for sports.
TTT Sports. Committed, accurate, relevant.
Hey, up for this exciting challenge and confident about your business? If you are, the 1020 feature is just what you need. It's where you give your customers 10 reasons in 20 seconds why they should shop by you. This fun-filled feature will be captured, packaged, and aired on television and promoted on social media simultaneously. Small, medium, and large businesses call or WhatsApp 764-3378 or 313-4215. Let's feature your business. 1020 with Junior K. It's affordable, effective, and fun.
More news, more access, more ways to stay informed. TTT News covers the stories that matter on air and online. Join us nightly at 7. TTT News. Committed, accurate, relevant.
Ever wondered what happens before the lights come on? Before the crowd pours in? Before the magic hits the stage? This is your all-access pass. Sneak Peek with Junior K takes you behind the scenes of the biggest cultural moments and the hottest events across TNT. From the sound checks to the stage setups, from final rehearsals to exclusive interviews. If it's about to be big, we're already there. Catch Sneak Peek airing daily on TTT and relive every moment on all our social media platforms. Sneak Peek with Junior K, where the story starts before the spotlight.
I'm Renee Sion with another edition of Caribbean Week in Review.
Well, yesterday we had some rain and a little bit of, a little bit of rain, I should say, and a lot of sunshine and a ton of heat. In case you're wondering what today's weather is going to be like, we have a weather update with Zaina James for you now.
I am Zaina James with your weather update. Tuesday will bring a mix of sunshine and cloudiness as a tropical wave enhances moisture across our area. A few showers remain possible, mainly over Trinidad and during the morning hours, but activity is not expected to be widespread or prolonged. Near heavier showers, gusty winds and street flooding remain possible. In addition, a mild to moderate concentration of Saharan dust also lingers across the islands, which could help limit significant rainfall activity while producing a slight haze. At sea, conditions remain moderate in open waters, with wave heights between 1.5 and 2 meters, but below 1 meter in sheltered areas.
Thank you so much, Zaina. Remember, you can reach us on the show at TT Today at ttt.co.tt, and you can find all the stories that you cover here every single day at TTT Live Online. Well, before we go today, last Friday we were joined by a very special little boy. His name is Taj Pariag. He's 7 years old and he is part of the Discover Your Talent competition that moves alongside the East-West Corridor Football League. So you'd remember he was here with us in studio. Well, he left us a very special gift. It is actually a very, very, very lively performance. We hope that adds some sunshine to your day as we leave you this morning. We'll see you tomorrow where we do this all over again from 6 to 8 on Trinidad and Tobago. Today carries up with the news at the top of the hour. But for now, we say goodbye with this from Taj Pariag.
This is respectfully.
Tobago, I am Taj Pariag, respectfully your pan man. Run it from me top DJ.
Bannister, host of the Socially Safe podcast, the new TTPS podcast where we share real stories, teach real lessons, and create real impact. From online safety and youth crime to community policing and personal responsibility, we go beyond the headlines and talk about what's happening in our communities with the officers and experts who are on the front lines. Because safety starts with awareness, conversation, and action. Tune in to the Socially Safe podcast on the TTPS YouTube channel, listen on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Don't miss it.
Watch on TTT, Mondays 6 p.m., Tuesdays 1:10 p.m.
Unleash your imagination with TTT's Terrific Toon Time. Join us as we stop evil geniuses from taking over the world on Super Z, or hop on board for a journey into outer space with Galaxy Kids. Be a part of our quest to save the forest alongside our robot pals from Bugspot Ignition. Or let's go exploring with Duda and Dada. It's fun-filled adventure with Terrific Toon Time right here on TTT.
Hi everybody, I am Leah.
And I'm Dion.
And we are the Duncans. Listen, we're here to tell you about a project the Lord has given to us called the Marriage Confessional. It is geared toward married couples, those that are on the road to marriage, and those that want to get married one day.
So join us on TTT and on Facebook and YouTube at TTT Live Online.
The Marriage Confessional, only on TTT.
Your news, anytime, anywhere. TTT News brings you the facts that matter most, on air and online. TTT News, nightly at 7. TTT News, committed, accurate, relevant.
Good morning, this is your TTT News Update. I'm Carrie Roberts, making the news at this time. A search operation is underway in the bay near Goodwood after the body of an infant was reportedly spotted floating in the water on Tuesday morning. According to reports, a CPEP worker working along the beach alerted police after making the discovery. Authorities have since launched a search in the area, but rough sea conditions and poor visibility are hampering efforts as anxious relatives and residents look on. Police said the baby had been reported missing since 7:30 p.m. on Monday, prompting a frantic overnight search. In other news, as conversations continue about the impact of Republic Bank's increase in banking service fees, economist Dr. Valmiki Arjun says financial institutions should consider the broader implications for the economy and the potential erosion of public trust. Speaking on the Trinidad and Tobago Today morning show, Dr. Valmiki Arjun noted that smaller businesses would be significantly impacted by this shift.
For small businesses, higher fees accumulate rather quickly and could reduce their profits or unfortunately get passed on to consumers as higher prices. Low-income households as well could face an impact as well, because let's say a $57.50 charge. It means much more to a lower-income worker than a higher-income customer.
He added that maintaining the well-established trust in financial institutions is critical, warning that moves such as this could create perceptions of instability and drive consumers away from the sector.
What we have to keep in mind is that when a highly profitable bank raises their fees and explains it only by reference to cost without giving an idea of how much these costs are and being transparent as to if the cost is 100 million, 200 million, is there a margin as well attached to that cost? So if they're covering the cost, they're making additional money in fee income as well. Customers will start feeling that the relationship is one-sided. And if people start believing banks are using market power to extract more from them, then trust in the financial system ultimately weakens.
In other news, Minister of Culture and Community Development, Michelle Benjamin, is calling on Trinidad and Tobago to embrace its rich musical identity as Napa Jazz Fusion 2026 takes center stage. Speaking at the official launch, the minister highlighted the importance of cultural evolution, investment, and national pride, as the event promises a dynamic fusion of Caribbean sounds and world-class performances. The showcase will feature leading local and national orchestras alongside top artists, celebrating the evolution of Caribbean jazz.
Culture must evolve, and that is the mandate I give to all my boards. Our institutions must evolve, and more importantly so, the ways in which we engage audiences, communicate value, and create memorable cultural experiences must also evolve. We are curating experiences, and sometimes we forget this. As such, the Jazz Fusion 2026 represents exactly that. This year's theme, the evolution of Caribbean jazz, is especially fitting.
Minister Benjamin says Trinidad and Tobago's identity is rooted in cultural fusion, shaped by a rich blend of musical and artistic traditions.
Here in Trinidad and Tobago, we understand fusion, perhaps better than most. We are a nation shaped by many influences, many sounds and many traditions, from calypso and soca to steel pan, gospel, parang, and we have soca calypso, tassa. Our identity has always been rooted in blending of cultures into something unique, our own. Whatever we touch, we have the ability to make it our own. That is unique to Trinidad and Tobago.
And TTT Limited is the title media partner for the event. In some sport now, Trinidad and Tobago Red Force seized the advantage in their West Indies Championship playoff, posting 333 all out before reducing Barbados' pride to 262 for 9 at stumps. After winning the toss and electing to bat, Red Force relied on a patient 93 from Cephas Cooper, while a steady 70 from Captain Joshua Da Silva and contributions from Terrence Hines and Amir Jangu. In reply, Barbados faltered early, losing skipper Craig Brathwaite for a duck, while Joshua Bishop remained unbeaten on 79. However, wickets continued to tumble, with Anderson Phillips starring for Red Force with 4-4-51. Barbados closed the day still 71 runs behind with just 1 wicket in hand, leaving Red Force firmly in control heading into the next session. And that was your TTT News Update. I'm Carrie Roberts. From all of us here, have a good day.
This is TTT. Live for local.